MJ, tell us what's going on, what President Biden is doing on his way out the door.
Breaking news from the White House, a statement from President Joe Biden issuing preemptive pardons for a number of individuals that he said he is fearful will be persecuted, politically persecuted. I just want to tick through for you the list of people that the president says he is pardoning preemptively today. They include General Mark Milley, Dr. Anthony Fauci. We also have members and staff of the committee that investigated the January 6th insurrection. He also said that that group would include the U.S. Capitol and D.C. Metropolitan Police officers who testified before this committee. You know, Jake, this is was a possibility that we had anticipated and that we reported was something that President Biden was considering. And in all of our reporting, we anticipated that if he were to take this action, it was very possible that it would happen at the very last minute. And here we are just hours before.
Of course it would happen at the last minute because he's a coward. He would not do no shit like that and still be seated as president. I mean, he's in his final hours and he's preemptively pardoning people. He is the president of the United States. I mean, they want us to have, and fuck that shit. They want black people to trust in a system that they don't trust in. We got to go to court and throw our whole lives away because of their discretion and because of their ideas and because of their laws, because we trust and we believe in them. So we lay our own goddamn lives down. We go out in the street, break the law based on what they're at their discretion, what that punishment should be. They haul us into court and wipe out our life. No kids, no wife, no apartment, none of that shit. You going to prison for the rest of your life. But he don't even trust the legal system to take care of white people who may have done something wrong. How do we know? And what if we find out later on that Joe Biden is covering up some shit? Liz Cheney and the like was involved and Biden's, dead and we can't do nothing to him about it. But just to think that during this time, he's hiding some criminal shit and he's pardoning police officers from that's the kind of shit where people support. Oh yeah, he should. Why would you be pardoning the fucking police? Because he's doing that shit because they don't need pardons. They're not going to be charged with nothing. Trump ain't after them police officers who went in there and testified. It's people who he is pissed off at. And if his Justice Department feels that laws were broken during the Biden administration, how can you if you had a lawless presidency with a whole lot of shit going on in there, and then at the end you start pardoning people and to the American public who support you, we're saying, yeah, because Trump's going to go after him. That's kind of like, damn, if they didn't break the law, then they should be good, in my opinion. And if people start needing preemptive and Trump didn't even do that shit to his kids. Everybody's talking all this shit about the Trump kids. Them motherfuckers didn't even get no goddamn. And Trump and Biden right now it ain't Trump and Biden. It's Trump and anybody. Because Biden is a non-factor. But these preemptive pardons, I got a problem with them. We all should. He ain't preemptively pardoning nobody else. Preemptively pardoning folks. And did you hear the list? They didn't include his family members. 5 of more Bidens have been, I don't know why he pardoned them. His brother might work in the administration in some capacity or been stealing out the back door. Why would you? That's too many goddamn Bidens who've been pardoned in the history of this country. Too many people with his blood pumping through their life. You cannot continue to need pardons and not be a bad guy. Why do the Bidens require all these goddamn pardons? This shit don't make no sense. And at this point, while I'm speaking to you, the inauguration is going on. President Trump has been inaugurated as our president. First thing he hit the door with, I think, over 200 executive orders. He just signed an executive order. Last time he swore in, it was just one. It's over 200. He got a plan, and he's signing them. And black people, for the most part, are arguing over Nelly and Snoop Dogg rapping at some bullshit ass event over the weekend. Who give a damn? Who care? We don't own Snoop Dogg. Well, as black people, we need to stop. Let go. He ain't ours like that. He's his own man. If that's what he want to do, Nelly, Rick Ross, the only one of them, and I don't follow that kind of shit too much, but the only one of them that I have a real serious issue with was Snoop Dogg. And not to the point of where I don't like him or I hate him or I wouldn't go to a Snoop Dogg concert or stop supporting him and shit. And I wouldn't do that. But I do feel that, you know, just as a man and with your word being, you know, part of being a man and shit, and you up there just talking about other black people like you calling them jigaboo ass and all that. It's like, if you clowning and you high, we do it, but don't let nobody be releasing that shit. You keep that shit, you know, amongst friends and in that circle where people understand what's going on in the right context. Because when they be releasing that kind of shit and you look like you just putting black people down like that, and then you turn around and drop it like it's hot, you can't be doing that shit. You got to have some integrity about yourself. But we need to quit fucking supporting both sides. That's it. We need to support ourselves. You don't have to support both of them. You can support yourself and get more than you'll get for supporting either one of those sides, because neither one of them support us. Trump is doing these goddamn executive orders like this, and then Biden's over here pardoning his friends and family. They didn't even mention that shit. This is a news network. They're supposed to be talking about his pardons, and we're going to talk about a list of them. I guess the family slipped the mind. Why would you have to preemptively pardon your family?
President Biden is set to leave the White House. The president is announcing this very controversial decision. You know, in this lengthy statement that he just released, he says, "I believe in the rule of law, and I am optimistic that this..."
He's a damn lie. I believe in the rule of law, and I'm optimistic. That's a goddamn lie. If Joe Biden believed in the rule of law and was optimistic, if either one of those things were true, he wouldn't have to put his soon-to-be dead fingerprints on it. He's an old-ass man, and he should not, and he is not in good shape. You don't see him out there with no tennis racket or nothing. He's on unsteady legs. His mind is slipping really bad. Some people at his age are as sharp as they were in their 30s. He isn't one of them. And he's up there doing all this stuff, and all this stuff ain't him. He got people behind the scenes. Everybody keep talking about Trump and Elon Musk. Yes, Biden and his folks back there who are faceless, we don't even know who they are, but they doing the same shit. And we so caught up in the wrong type of thinking right now. We cannot be mad at Snoop Dogg to the point that we forget about what we need to be fighting for and what we need to be doing. We need to stay on point. I would like to tune in, and will tune in later on and check out this inauguration. But right now, I'm like, man, please, they not about to distract me with no inauguration. I don't give a damn how much fanfare if Snoop Dogg get up there and drop it like it's hot again. I don't care. I don't want to see none of that. What I want to see is some progress, and some progress amongst black people, where we start talking to each other differently, where black people start helping black people across all levels of society. The rich blacks, the poor blacks, start helping each other. If it's nothing but advice, if it's nothing but just being nice, if it's just not hating on them. I mean, this stuff that's going on with Snoop and Nelly and all them, they have the right. I really liked what Ice Cube was doing last time. Remember last time Ice Cube was trying to get with the campaign people and folks and set up a meeting with Trump, and everybody was like, oh, Ice Cube over there selling out. I mean, talking to white people is selling out unless they the white people you like. That's some brainwashed kind of, you're not fully released from slavery shit. It's okay for you to talk to your master, but he can't go talk to some other master over there because that's all it is. We have not gotten anywhere near where we need to be. We're in 2024, and instead of us getting right, getting the wealth gap closed, doing shit that makes sense, instead of that, we arguing over some bullshit that ain't gonna put a dollar in nobody's pocket. Nothing. It's not gonna help. We're just hating on what somebody else is doing and whatever. And as black people, Snoop Dogg and all the rest of them, oh man, D.L. Hughley is loving this. He's just looking at them and you sellouts, and he is sellout. How can a sellout call a sellout? D.L. Hughley and the Democratic Party is not a normal relationship. You can be wrong. It's all right. If you support somebody and they wrong, that can happen, and you can say, oh wow, and you learn from that shit. You can't dig in and support this Democratic Party to the point of where you're not even willing to listen to anything else, because it means, oh no, dun da da da, the Republicans, yeah, that's what they got us in. It's either this or that, but we got another choice, and it's us. It's ourselves. American politics shouldn't even be the top of what we concerned with, because it seems for the last 60 years we made that happen, and it ain't got us nowhere. So we need to make ourselves our top priority, and then you can, go on down the line as you see fit. But you have to band together and see the benefit of us thinking in the same direction and loving each other, and not writing rap records that just decimate our whole history and our women who are currently walking the planet, and the kind of respect that they're going to get just the way you are given the blueprint of how to talk to them, how to treat them, and how to feel about them. We got to do better. I mean, we mad at Snoop because he rapped it. We should be mad at the motherfucker because of the lyrics that he write and rap about. That's not positive. I hope anybody ain't proud if they think that's their daughter that he talking about. Oh, that was a good record Snoop wrote. I hope he was talking about my daughter June. No, you don't. You don't want that shit in your life and in your kid's life. And I don't care how good the beats are and all that. Why can't you rap about something positive on a good ass beat? Get a good beat going and then say something real positive, like they was doing in the 90s, in the 80s. Remember the rappers used to have to be on that black shit and rap about. What did their record deal say? They can't do that no more. What is the reason that we don't rap about no positive shit? And then when a motherfucker do get up there and do whatever it is he do for Donald Trump's weekend or whatever, now we all heard about it. But it's okay for Megan Thee Stallion and Ziploc or whatever that dude name is to go over there and rap for Kamala. It don't make no difference. Neither one of those parties are for us. They really ain't. And I don't like either one of them better than the other one at all. But we need to figure this shit out and quit fighting amongst each other, amongst ourselves over bullshit. Snoop Dogg and where he go rap and who he rap for, please. He is not for us in his lyrics, in what got him where he is, rapping about all that old hood shit and all that old bullshit. Don't do us. We know it firsthand. So who you rapping for? Not us. What you want to rap for real? Gangbang more? We know how to gangbang. We know what all that shit is. We need somebody to rap about some shit that we don't do every day. Get us in a new habit, rapping about that negativity and that bullshit. And people love you. And people love rappers and that trap ass music. And then it comes out of the music and onto the streets. How do you think a kid out getting high, drinking, riding around, thinking he tough, being with a gang, whatever they doing, and a soundtrack to go with it? You got a soundtrack in the background, just bumping, kill that N-word, kill that, and just over and over and over again, and then F that B. That's all. That's just pound that shit into your head. And you riding around and thinking you cool and thinking that's good, because money is being made to get us out of the way, to get rid of it. They're paying our rappers to pound negativity to enter our head, just a steady stream of it, and we just eating it up. And then we argue because we should be arguing at Snoop Dogg about the lyrics in his goddamn records, and not who he go rap for. Who cares? I bet Donald Trump wouldn't have let him get up there if he'd have been rapping positive about black people. You think Donald Trump would have been pulling for Snoop Hey, we need you to come up here, Snoop, and rap something really positive about black people. No, they want him to get up there and be done dropping like it's hot. Drop it. Fuck that shit. Nah, fuck that. We can do better than that as a people.
Strength of our legal institutions will ultimately prevail over politics, but he says these are exceptional circumstances and I cannot in good conscience do nothing. Now, when he is...
But he been doing nothing for 4 goddamn years. Now all of a sudden his conscience done kicked in. For the last 4 years, a big goose egg. Biden has done nothing but let a bunch of illegal immigrants in the country. And I don't care how soft your heart is. When you go down to Mexico as an American citizen, your life is on the line. You can get killed. And especially people like us, regular people. You know, you ain't got to be rich or no shit. Just go down there. The cartel, the whatever, they keep blaming them on the cartel. The cartel's right there at our border. We letting illegal immigrants in without vetting, but they could be members of the cartel for all we know. Just dress like with a pair of jeans and a hoodie, you look like what the illegal immigrants are looking like coming in here. And we're allowing that shit. We need to vet these people. We need to figure out what's going on. And God, how can you agree with part of Trump shit, which I do, some of it, and some of Biden shit, which I do, some of it. But when I see how they think about us, well, that's where my issues come in. My issues coming in with Biden right now. Biden is doing a whole lot of pardoning now. He's been doing. So far, he has pardoned more people than any U.S. President in history. I think the last round was 2,500 in one day or some shit like that. He just pardoning the shit out of people. But he is one of the igniters of the mass incarceration system. He was the one who got on the Senate floor and argued and fought that black people basically just needed to be locked up, and then we'll figure that shit out later. But for right now, we just need to make our families safe. That was Joe Biden. And then we turn around and we just act like he's so much better than Trump. No, he ain't. And Trump ain't no better than him. That's why we need to get our heads straight and start negotiating with Donald Trump and putting it out there. He's so worried about his image and his platform. We need to meet him, in a place that's important to him and start to talk and negotiate and make sense out of this shit. Because who Snoop Dogg and Milley and them rap for, I don't care. That don't matter. It's so not important.
Talking about exceptional circumstances, of course, he is referring to the incoming president, Donald Trump, who has made very clear in all of his public statements that he is focused on taking revenge on people, on individuals who he sees as having done him wrong. These specific people, and particularly if you think about the members who served on the January 6th committee, the staffers who served to work on that committee.
Yeah, but he's not only saying that the people done him wrong. He's accusing them of breaking laws. And if his Justice Department finds this to be true, and these people did, I would feel really bad to find out that somebody got a pardon because Joe Biden don't want them to be punished for something that they really did just because he likes them or because they did it under his administration. I just think what is that? We're going to just let that shit roll. We're going to let him just blanket pardon some people and preemptively pardon them. And then we don't really get to know if they ever really did anything or not. That just seemed kind of weird to me. And I know it's been a lot of talk about Liz Cheney and the witness tampering, but Biden goes beyond pardoning just the goddamn people who supposedly Trump is after, and pardons his family members as well. How do you explain that? How do you explain pardoning your brother? How do you explain pardoning 5 Bidens, 5 family members? How do you explain that? You can't.
These are people that the president obviously was worried would face a lot of legal troubles, knew that there was just a lot of hardships coming their way, and this is why he is taking this action to make sure that he can save them from all of that, even though he makes clear he does not believe that they did anything wrong.
Right, and that's the part of his argument that I can agree with there. If he believes they didn't do nothing wrong, I get it. But you are a president and not a court. You are not the judicial. You're the executive branch. And the executive branch needs to step back and let the judicial branch do its job if it needs to, and not do their job for them. Like they're going to get it wrong. They might get it wrong, in your opinion, but wrong might be right. I really believe that there's more to this, and it needs to come out in a court if it's going to come out in court. There's no guarantee. Donald Trump promised to prosecute Hillary Clinton. Nobody preemptively pardoned her. Obama could have. Remember during the campaign, he kept threatening Hillary. You're a crook. You're a thief. You're a this. You're a that. But there was a lot of stuff going on during that time that we didn't know about. But that would have been the person who probably should have received a part. Like, man, we can't let him send her to jail. He done ran against her. He hates her guts. And now he's going to try to send her. We shouldn't. Man. Why didn't Biden preemptively pardon Hillary? Because Biden is a crook. Biden is, something's going on with that dude. And we just sitting here supporting that shit. No, not me.
All right, MJ, thanks so much. Let's go to Jamie Gangel now for more on this. And Jamie Gangel, a lot of the members of the January 6th committee said that they didn't want preemptive pardons. They hadn't committed any crimes. They didn't think it was necessary.
That's exactly how I feel. I don't want a pardon. I'm good. It's not necessary. And if Donald Trump, and his Justice Department come down on me or whatever, I didn't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, I'm like so far away from this shit that it'll look like I was in another state when whatever they say I did happen. That's how clear I should be. And then if that's what they did, I'm just going to sue whoever I have to recover my money for my legal expenses. That's it. But why in the hell? Biden, you up to some shit. And you so old. I hate the oldness of it. You're not going to be around to see all this play out. And we will. And I think some of us are going to be happy to know that you weren't able to run again and that you weren't able to get another 4 years of our lives. And I don't know what the reason would have been. You did absolutely nothing in 4 years. God damn it, nothing.
But there is always just the question of even a prosecution that isn't going anywhere is still going to cost potential defendants up to millions and millions of dollars to just to defend themselves.
Right. I think I was just texting them.
But the court system is set up for folks who file and try to prosecute people just frivolously, just for some bullshit, whatever. So, and if it doesn't, and people do suffer, if there's going to be some real harm, caused to these people by these erroneous prosecutions, so to speak, then let's change the legal system. Then let's fix this shit. Let's make it where it can't happen again. Or is it something that they want there? Is it something that they need to have? That little crack in the door that they can slide bullshit through? Because other than that, change it. Make it right. Make it where this kind of stuff can happen. It's possible. But Biden, man, a whole lot of people is getting prosecuted under your Justice Department. And your son was one of them.
With some people who would be covered by this. And as you know, Jake, there was a lot of discussion back and forth about this because members of the committee are covered by speech and debate, technically. Witnesses, Capitol Hill Police, D.C. Police, members of the committee, everybody I spoke to who was involved with the January 6th committee hearings felt very strongly. They all said exactly the same words. We didn't do anything wrong, so we don't need a pardon. But, and this is the but, it's the extraordinary circumstances. It's the fact that President Biden felt that there would be this political right.
There wasn't an extraordinary circumstance. Trump has been Trump. He talks shit about prosecuting people, about people should be prosecuted. He says he has his speech. That's what he does. But if he really does go and start doing that kind of shit, then that's something that needs to be dealt with when it gets dealt with, but not preemptively pardoning people, because it does make us have to give you, once again, our trust and belief that we know what you're talking about, and we don't. We don't know if these people committed crimes, and hopefully they didn't. But You preemptively pardoning people is not the answer. Hell nah.
Retribution, political revenge that did not have any bearing in the facts, but that he was giving members, committee staffers, witnesses, sort of a blanket of protection to try to send a message more than anything else. These people should not, nobody should go after these people.
John King, I want to ask you about these pardons early this morning from President Biden.
Well, the president and his team obviously think it is necessary. I think the result of it will be, it'll be a really interesting limousine ride and tea at the White House between President Biden, who decided this was necessary because of what he thinks about Donald Trump. So they're going to be sitting as close as we are, even closer. And this is to the very end, Biden versus Trump, Trump versus Biden. That has been the last 4 years of American life. It's been.
Well, that's too bad, because that means Biden wasted his administration with his nemesis, Trump. He should have fought. He should have thought about how to be a good president. He should have done things that moved the country in the right direction. And here he is down to his last hours in office, and it's Trump. I don't feel that he was fighting for us. He was just trying to prove that he could beat Trump in an election. And then when he did, what did he do? What did he actually do that benefited us, that would have been any different than having anybody else as president? He was nothing special, and it was more of all about him, that even at his advanced stage, he was willing to run again.
Longer than that, actually, if you think about it. And so the president thinks this is necessary because of everything Donald Trump said during the campaign about retribution, about getting back at the people he thinks have been disloyal to him. Is it necessary? I'll leave that to smarter people than me. But what it does, it will continue the polarization and the fights, and it will put a burr in Donald Trump's saddle.
On this issue of the pardon.
Is that what it's about? You want to put a burr in his saddle? I mean, that's what I'm saying. If you're just stoking the guy or picking, you're not in love with the country then. You ain't trying to do all this wonderful stuff you say you've been trying to do. You worried more about getting under this guy's skin and poke him in the eye rather than benefiting us all. Because those pardons are definitely going to be a part of your legacy, and there will be possibly independent investigations and things coming out from sources. And how are you going to explain that if Liz Cheney is guilty or if Dr. Fauci is guilty of something and that contributed to the loss of life we had in this country, but he's under a blanket immunity from a president who protected him, so he can't be convicted for a crime that he potentially committed? We cannot be doing this. I don't know if Dr. Fauci committed a crime or not, but if anybody thinks he does and charges him with something based on facts and evidence, we need to be sitting down with a bowl of popcorn and checking this out and not just preemptively pardoning people.
You know, this day is really interesting because you have all these customs that are going to be observed, these constitutional norms, in a day of norm busting, in an era of norm busting. So even as they ride to the Capitol, we now see these pardons. Right after the swearing in, President Trump is going to sign some executive orders, many of which will be tested in court because they challenge the constitutional separation of powers. So it's a day of customs and a day of customs busting.
Yeah. And we're going to talk to Anita Brent McBride, who's next to me, former Chief of Staff for First Lady Laura Bush, in just a moment, about the customs of the day and that transition. It's fascinating, the details of it. I do want to stick with the pardons, though. Tim Naftali, historian, talk about the nature of these pardons just in sort of the scope of history.
Well, we're going to see pardons today from both sides of the story on January 6th.
Yep, that we absolutely are. And that's the problem. It's just like some real bullshit here. If any but Trump's folks who went into the Capitol broke the law, then they need to have to stand for it. You can't be in this country and feel that you did not do an insurrection. If you didn't, I'm not going to tell you did if you think you didn't. But if you didn't do an insurrection and you found yourself inside the Capitol on that day, especially if you had a weapon on you, and you may have not, but if you found yourself in the Capitol that day and the doors, you didn't go in through the front doors, and if you did, you busted them open, then how do you explain that? Is there? It might be a misdemeanor. It might be, but it is a law was broken. Now, if Trump pardons these people, then we need to look at his integrity. And the same here, Biden is pardoning his folks, and then Trump on this side pardoning his folks, and then your head's gonna swim with the executive orders. We in for a ride, you guys. But this is what American politics is. Why should Biden have to stoop, or in his supporters' eyes, lower himself to Trump in order to be effective? In order to be an effective president, why does he have to stoop to Trump's level? Why does he have to throw mud and sling mud and be a dirty, dishonest guy just to compete? Because he's not doing this like to respond. It's him. That's who Biden is. Biden is not a good person. He never has been. And I can't believe that he's in a position to even be able to do this stuff he's doing.
Right? President Biden surprised us by preemptively pardoning those who tried to investigate the insurrection. And later in the day, it is anticipated, and ex-President-elect Trump has told us he'll do this, we will see pardons for some of those who participated in the insurrection on January 6th. This is unprecedented in the sense that two presidents have done this. What isn't unprecedented, however, is for people who participated in an insurrection to get a pardon. On Christmas Day in 1868, Andrew Johnson did just that. He pardoned the Confederate leaders, pardoned anyone who had been.
Yeah, but that makes a whole lot more sense. Andrew Johnson was a known racist, like most of the country, but I mean, he was not going to convict the guys who basically were Confederate. They were fighting, for a political reason, and in their eyes, and after the war and when the convictions started to come, it's only right in that sense. Not that I'm agreeing with racists or anything, but I mean, I can understand the country's divided. In the end, I don't think anybody after a civil war should be being, unless they did some kind of sick mass killings with chemicals or something. But if they just were fighting for their slaves and they were fighting to free them, then yeah, that I see. But this is different. The Democrats didn't let Trump rest. Can you imagine what it must be like to be impeached twice, to be investigated the whole time you're in office? This sounds crazy to people who support Democrats. They're like, yeah, he should have been. He was breaking the law. He was doing this. He may have been, but he had to stand for it. He wasn't preemptively pardoned. He didn't receive any kind of special treatment. Either he lost or he won, and it just is what it is. That's the only thing I think that Liz Cheney and Dr. Fauci and Joe Biden's relatives should all stand without preemptive pardons, because if they did something, they should stand. And if they find out that they are innocent, then they will all know it. But now Biden put us in a pickle. We'll never know. We just gotta accept that Biden says they did nothing wrong. He's not the judicial, and he is I don't think preemptive pardons should be allowed. Even that one that Nixon got back in the day, he shouldn't have got that. You have to be convicted, and the president, just goddamn it, the stars got to line up, or you going to prison. That's just how it should be.
Indicted or tried for treason. So we've done this in the past. The difference, however, is that for all his flaws, and Andrew Johnson was a very flawed president, Andrew Johnson actually opposed the Confederacy. He supported the unity of the United States, which is that's why Abraham Lincoln chose him as his running mate. But today we're going to see likely a president pardoning people who participated in insurrection that he supported. That will be a first.
Yeah. Alyssa, did these surprise you?
The pardons didn't surprise me, but I actually think Joe Biden might have done Donald Trump quite a favor with this. Listen, the American people elected Donald Trump to deal with the border, to deal with the cost of living, to deal with, restoring American leadership abroad. not to be going after Tony Fauci and prosecuting 4-star generals. And as much as some of his base may have liked that, most of the
Yeah, but it ain't like his whole presidency is going to be consumed with prosecuting Liz Cheney and Dr. Fauci and that general. He has a Justice Department that will be doing that, completely independent of anything he got going on. He's not supposed to be involved in that. So they could totally bring up actual laws that were broken, present them to us, the American public, as they deal with the legal proceedings, and it's just another show for us to watch. But we do need to know, and we will. It's just going to be real, another knock on Biden. Biden is going to really go down as just a complete horrible president. I don't like anything about him, and I never have. I really wish Obama would have left him, off to the side. And shit, he could have picked up Hillary as his VP, but I think at the time, her personality was a little too strong, and she was still upset that she didn't win the nomination. But
country would hate that sideshow. And this kind of allows him to focus on the things that he's good at, that he was elected to do, not get distracted with what would end up being something that I think kind of feeds to his worst instincts. That said, I think he's going to be mad about this. I think it is going to be an awkward car ride over, and I could see it changing some of the remarks that he gives later today. He's going to be speaking twice. I'm almost certain he'll end up addressing this in some form.
Let's go back to CNN's Pamela Brown, who has some reaction from General Mark Milley, the retired chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, to the preemptive pardon he is getting from President Biden. We should note Donald Trump gave General Milley at one point the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
Yeah, well, there was a time when convicted murderers graduated from the 6th grade. I mean, your whole life don't have to be bad. We get it. I mean, he's trying to make it sound like he went because Trump gave him a medal. Now you can't possibly convict him of anything or charge him with nothing. That's not true. And the way he's trying to form that is some bullshit. It means nothing. You could have got whatever, a Grammy for all I give a damn, but that still doesn't mean you're innocent. And I believe when presidents start preemptively pardoning people, especially one who's pardoned his son already, I got a problem with him.
Before he decided he was a political enemy of his. Pamela?
That's right. I just received the statement from General Milley. We're the first to obtain it here, Jake. And let me just read the statement to you. In response to this preemptive pardon from President Biden, the statement says, "My family and I are deeply grateful for the president's action today. After 43 years of faithful service in uniform to our nation, protecting and defending the Constitution, I do not wish to spend whatever remaining time the Lord grants me fighting those who unjustly might seek retribution for perceived slights. I do not want to put my family, my friends, and those with whom I serve through the resulting distraction, expense, and anxiety. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve our great country in uniform for over 4 decades, and I will continue to keep faith and loyalty to our nation and Constitution until my dying breath. I thank my wife, Holly Ann, my children, my dear friends, and my trusted colleagues who have supported me throughout my life. God bless the United States of America and the troops who sacrificed so much in order to protect us against all enemies." So that is the statement from General Mark Milley.
Well, Mark Milley at least is being honest. I'd be thankful too, shit. And who wouldn't want a presidential pardon? Even it's just like, damn, really? A presidential pardon? But when you haven't committed a crime and when you haven't been charged with anything, it just seems a little weird. I wish we keep things above board and straight. And these preemptive pardons. I like the one thing I do like about presidential power is the executive orders. 200 executive orders is awesome shit. I wish Biden would have went in there signing. Well, he did, but he was doing kind of what Trump's doing, reversing Trump shit. Now Trump's reversing his shit. That's just like par for the course. That's a bunch of a wasted time for us. We need them to be moving forward instead of battling each other over some bullshit. I think we're gonna get some movement out of this presidency, folks. I don't believe that any of those folks would be or should be convicted or charged with anything if they didn't do nothing, but we'll never know now. Biden took care of that. He put him in a real bad place too, because any naysayer or opponents of theirs, it just gives them fuel. And it to me, it leaves a little bit of a black eye on General Milley and Liz Cheney. And the Bidens, they don't give a damn. They're just a little crime family over there. They be just not good. For him to be so direct and so harsh when talking about locking up people in his past, it's just now he don't like to see people in jail anymore. That's the part that just grabs at my heartstrings, because I personally know people who spent time in prison who are good people, and who, if they had alternatives, they wouldn't have ended up there, in my opinion. I got an opinion too, like Joe Biden. And with that, like, comment, share, and please subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one.